Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 29 of the Casual Weebs podcast, boys. We got heat for you guys. Listen, we just dropped sleeper anime Grimgar, absolutely amazing. I'm super hyped about it because everyone was super excited to see it. They're like, "Oh my god, finally someone's giving Grimgar recognition!" And when we do a sleeper anime episode, that is always the best to hear, right? Kind of like helping out the smaller, kind of more niche anime communities because hey, some of these animes really do need love, and they're seriously sleepers. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. But seriously, if you haven't watched Grimgar, I honestly highly recommend it. The next sleeper anime we're going to be doing is literally my number one favorite sleeper anime. We're not going to spoil it of what anime it is, but I am so excited to do it. We're also about to drop an anime fall 2024 season preview, probably the day after this drops, probably on Thursday. So we're going to be going and taking a deep dive into all the animes that are coming out in the fall season. Let me tell you, it is going to be the most stacked season I have ever seen. It is absolutely insane the level of depth of anime that are coming out with new seasons, but also animes that are premiering. It is going to be absolutely insane. I am not going to leave the house. I already don't leave the house, but now I'm really not going to leave the house. You know what I mean?
Felt.
There's so many. There's so many. I don't know how we're going to have enough time. It's going to be crazy how some amazing animes are going to get cut and left until you're able to watch them. But let's kind of dive right into it because this week of anime was also phenomenal. Elusive Samurai came back, and honestly, pretty funny. We had Wistoria, which is just becoming insane. Aya hides her. We had a Madoff, and Aya hides her feelings in Russian. What is going on with that, boys? And then My Hero Academia. So, I mean, what do you want to jump into first?
I feel like Wistoria was super hype. I feel like
Mm,
kind of like the most action-packed anime right now. I mean, obviously you have My Hero, but there's always like action in there unless they're taking the week off. But
yeah.
Wistoria, dude, very sick. Very, very good.
Dude,
Like, I feel
good.
like between building like the character dynamics and kind of like introducing Will personally to these other characters, that makes it feel like way more grounded. Like this what is there, five of them, six of them, like this group is like actually kind of legit. It's not just
Mhm.
like Will getting taken along because he's the MC. Like he's definitely earning his spot, and like the little scenes you have with each character I think are really making it more interesting for me, besides obviously like the sick monsters and like Will being badass.
Bro, and the thing is too is like Wignall. Bro, he is like Will. He is like a variant of Will. It's insane how similar their backstories are, but how same they kind of are. You know what I mean? How they're both trying to strive for their childhood crush, who just happens to be badass fucking wizards. I mean, these dudes,
Yeah.
man, are just chasing these women. They're chasing them to like as high as you can go. Like they're like, okay, we
Yeah.
need to be the best of the best so we can be with them. I absolutely fucking love that, and I love how Will's like hyping him up. He's like, "Come on, bro! Like you're talented. You're fucking insane. Like let's go, baby. Like we got this. I need you to back me up with your magic." Imagine that. Will telling one of these absolute genius like wizards that, "Hey, I need your backup. I need you to back me up." You know what I mean? And they're not like flipping it, like freaking out on him, like back you up. Oh, no, you back me up. But he's like, no. He's like, I can't. He's like, you got this, brother. And you know what? Wignall got it. I mean, that whole scene with in this build up and like this development with Will and Wignall has been absolutely the best. It's been my favorite. I'm loving it.
So good, man. Like having them actually have like deeper conversations and not just like straight action has made me like this like whole dungeon thing a lot more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, Wignall can really relate to Will in the sense that like he's not as good as his peers or his family or the other elves or whatever. But like just that like big theme of like somebody believing in you and being like, yeah, back me up, you got this. And like Will takes quite literally almost takes a bullet for him. But Kiki, low key MVP in this episode, like kind of helps Will out with that like shield spell thing, and then Wignall finally gets it together and is like able to like elevate his illusion magic. And it's like all it took was somebody like being kind of nice to him. Like he just needed a homie, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And Will
yeah.
Will was that homie, like in dire straits no less. But it was really cool to see them connect, and like Will like really push him to believe in himself despite all the stuff that's going on in his past, and getting his backstory was really cool. You can kind of see how he does relate to Will, but then him elevating his magic was like, yes, finally, like him and Will got to be bros now. Completely opposite of like Julius and Shion.
Bro, they like have to, especially because Will like touched Wignall. Like he said that
Dude,
that's
they
not
had the
something.
handshake.
Yeah, he said that that's not something that he does unless he respects the person. So like it's like it's really cool how he's like really warming up to Will now, and it's like yo, like that's absolutely awesome. But I'm so glad you brought up Kiki because I didn't even think of it, dude. Kiki is also someone who's actually like getting some love in this dungeon because she's the one where it's not just like hey Will, you're on this 11th floor. This is your time to shine, being in unmarked territory where like you don't know what's going on. You need to rely on kind of your instincts and kind of like like reflexes, and that's where like Will's like really starting to shine, being in this like unknown, this is more dangerous than I'm able to handle kind of situation. But so is Kiki. Kiki's like, yo, Will, we've been through this, baby. Like, let's do this. So she's the one who's
Let's
also
eat it
helping
up.
out with like detecting these monsters, finding the stones that end up having them find Liana and Colette. So you know what I mean? Like Kiki's been shining in floor 11 as well. She's been like, yo, Kiki's needed in this group.
We got a couple like scenes of Kiki like, opening the lockers and like a
Hmm.
couple other things, but yeah, really really getting some love in the dungeon, which is cool cuz like I feel like she's a part of like Will, Rosty and Colette. Like that's the group, you know what I mean? That's like Will's like family it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see Kiki like showing out too.
You know what I also loved about this dungeon? The dungeon's giving birth to the monsters. I kind
Yeah,
of
that was
fucking love
crazy.
that. That's like so. How many animes have like done that where they've created that like idea of like okay, the dungeon's what's creating the monsters? Because I actually think it's really smart. So we go into a dungeon. Where do the monsters come from? How's there an infinite amount? If you have like, I get how they can like populate and have their own things, but like if you have like schools and like tower that's constantly in the dungeons killing shit. You gotta imagine that some monster's gonna go extinct or something like that, but like for some reason they keep just appearing there. Like how? So the fact that they're like, oh yeah, the dungeon's giving birth and the dungeon's low key kind of alive, and it kind of looks alive in floor 11 where you're seeing like the veins through like the walls and stuff. So like I thought that was such an interesting touch. I was like, holy shit, that is sick. That is so cool.
Very well done. And you can see like the stress the teachers have. Like, and it was kind of quick, but both Werkner and Professor Edward, very badass. Edward's spell was really sick, but like they're stressed out because they know like all those students that group is going for like floor 10 and floor 11 if they know about it. But like
No,
it
they
kind of
said floor
shows you like
11. They said floor 11 because Edward
so
has
like they
Kiki's
know about
stone.
it. Oh yeah, yeah. So Werkner knows, but like they're not 100% confident and they know like they're in uncharted territory, so it's super dangerous for them. So like it just kind of goes to show you like the depth of the situation and how like obviously difficult the dungeon can be, but they don't even know about the villains yet, you know what I mean? And I'm sure they'll find out once if they look at Kiki's stone. But like we're introduced to these villains and like we're brought to a head at the end of the episode. That was huge too. And like we got a couple
Yes.
lore bombs too with like taking the barrier down and like kind of like we said a couple weeks ago.
Kind of called that, guys. Just saying, we kind of called that. That was actually more than a couple weeks ago. It was like at the start of this goddamn anime, like episode 3 of Wistoria. We were saying that shit.
Freaks alive. We still got our mojo.
Yo,
But
we
yeah, that
did.
was like kind of cool to get that confirmed. Like that's what the villains are after and kind of like go after the tower, the Magiavander and the barrier and kind of like disrupt this peace that we
Hmm.
have at the academy.
I thought what was kind of crazy is like something I want to know about is okay, Werkner and Edwards. What floor have they made it to? You know what I mean? Because like floor 11 is like the
Yeah.
start of the tower, so floor 11 is actually like not really that scary at all if you think about it. You know what I mean? Maybe like floor 20, floor 30, who knows? So I'm actually kind of interested to see like how far it really goes. But like is floor 11 kind of evolving because it does seem pretty aggressive and pretty like different from like what we've seen. Like it's been like the heart of what's been creating the chaos. Well, of course, also the villains. So I'm interested to see kind of what's going to happen when they get down there. But yo, dude, yeah, Werkner and Edwards have been they popped off. They had like little moments that were like holy shit because Edwards hit
Yeah.
killing all that shit, like beheading them. I was like, yo, and then Werkner on that like dragon. They're like, I've never seen one of them down here, and Werkner's just fucking wheeling around on it like it's nothing. He's like, dude, I got this, and they're like, dude, you can just tell like they were just ready, like they're on it. I feel like those two when we actually see them like fully, fight, it's gonna be fucking awesome. But yeah, the villains, dude, they seem so badass. That seems so cool that we're actually seeing that they actually want to take it down the barrier. Kind of want to know why. You know what I mean? Do they just kind of hate the fakeness of it? Is there something real kind of behind it that maybe the Magiavander is hiding? Because like think about that. We're kind of saying, oh, there's an apocalypse, but that's really easy to kind of just lie about. Like if you want to manipulate a bunch of people, this is Attack on Titans. Remember how they kept saying there's titans outside the wall. We need to stay in here so we don't die. Well, what's really outside those walls? You know what I mean? What's really outside this barrier? Is it really going to be an apocalypse? Or is it going to be a better life? Is it going to be more to the world that they're being shielded from or hiding from? You never know. Because, like, in Attack on Titans, they did some bad shit, killed a bunch of people, and they're like, hey, we're just going to have our little civilization here, be walled off, stay away from us. They could be doing the same exact thing. Yeah, they could be doing the same thing where maybe they did something bad and they're kind of hiding here and fortifying here. So I'm, like, really excited to see what they do with this barrier and what happens when this barrier drops. Because I think that is going to be fucking awesome. I also want to know where these bad guys came from, and I love these bad guys. I think that they are really cool designed, and they seem pretty fucking sweet, but yeah.
Very, very good, dude. The headless guy, like, writing up all these, like, things, like, super cool and interesting.
Yeah.
He uses, like, the teacher's head in the beginning, like, really badass, like, instills some fear right away. Like, I feel like these villains are setting up to be really sick. They're, like, walking off in the end because things are getting a little crazy, and I feel like they know the teachers are coming. But yeah, obviously, like, things are starting to come together, so, like, the build up for season 2, because it's definitely happening, has been like really, really impressive. Like each week, I feel like every single week, I'm like, damn, what's happening next? What's coming next? Like they have this big dupe boss that they have to fight, which will be really sick. But I really want to get into, like you said, what the villains are after, why they kind of want to break this system that they have, and just what they're after too. Like, you know, who's pulling the strings and all that stuff. Like, definitely has got me super interested. Like the build up for season 2 has been phenomenal.
Dude, I completely agree. It's absolutely insane. Will's entrance too was fucking awesome. I mean, I can't wait to see the next episode to kind of see how this kind of plays out more. Because that's just gonna be awesome. Seeing everyone fight is gonna be super cool. I wonder if the teacher's gonna help them take out this thing, or if they're gonna go for the villains. You know, that's gonna be really cool as well. But yeah, I'm stoked. It's also kind of cool to see them in a way acknowledge Will's strength, because Will comes in there, deflects that shot, which was fucking crazy. But then when they clap back and hit Will, it's so funny how Wignall and Colette just instantly went to kind of like protect Will, but in like the funniest ways. Like Colette put up a wall that he ricocheted off of, and then Wignall had that tree branch that like he lands in. And it's like they kind of like had that face where like, okay, like let's save him, but like they know how strong he is, where he can just smack into a concrete wall and kind of be like low-key okay. You know what I mean? It's not like she's softened that too much for him. Like he hit that thing hard, but like I thought that was funny.
Will's durability has definitely been put to the test, like a few times this season. But I'm super excited to see how they like go at this villain, this demon monster thing, and kind of like the resolution of this dungeon, because they're evacuating people. So I would think they'd be out of it, you know, by the end of the episode, or like episode 12.
Yeah,
it'll be cool to kind of see how they like bring this season to a close too.
Oh, I'm super excited for that. Yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of how this moves forward. Let's see if they can gradually move on to the tower, and necessarily like what's going to happen. Also, Shion got his revenge against that monster. That monster that we saw in episode 1 that Will came in and saved him from. He finally got his revenge and took out so many of them. Dude, that was so funny. How he's like,
very cool.
You motherfuckers, you're the one that he saved me from. Made me look like a bitch. I'm coming. And dude, he just burned them all alive pretty much. Like, just absolutely torched them. Bro, like, those flames were in his magic. That shit was his rage. And he was taking out some anger. Like, he had some things to settle. So I'm glad that Shion was able to do that. I thought that was so funny.
Very good point. I forgot about that. You're definitely right. That was like a sweet callback to the beginning of the season, like making sure Shion's like keeping pace and like giving him his flowers too. That was really cool to see.
And then you have just Julius there. Just like
he's like, yeah, I was there too. Like, I'm helping. Julius is like warmed up on me too. Like, he's kind of a funny character. Like, everybody recognizes like he's talented and skilled and all that, but like still kind of like clowns on him, which I like. It's fitting for his character.
Dude, Shion and Julius are so funny and so like appealing to the anime. Well, because first of all, Shion's my boy. I'm gonna be number 1 on him all fucking series. But like, what's really kind of funny about them is how serious they take themselves, but also how angry they get. I feel like that's the kind of funniness between them, and that's why I think they're actually like a fun duo that they got paired up together, because they always just get so instantaneously pissed off, and they just like they're just so serious about it. Like, they cannot be happy, they can't smile, they can't let up. They gotta be like, I gotta fucking be the best, fucking Will. Like, they both have their passion and like hatred for Will now, because God forbid this kid's like so much strong. But dude, I think that that's so funny because they're both like they both defeated all those things things, and they're both still fuming pissed. Like Joyce is pissed. He's like, "Hey guys, like I'm fucking here. What are you talking about? I did something." Shion's like, "Oh, this motherfucker again. I got them before you got here this time at least. Like you piece of shit." It's
just competing like 24/7. I love it.
it's just
It's like the
always
perfect
angry.
like fire and ice. It's like a perfect duo. You're right.
Oh my god, I'm loving it. I cannot wait for the next episode. I'm gonna be so sad when the season ends, but hopefully season 2 comes quick. Because we have seen in our fall, little preview, we are getting animes that are getting season 2s pretty damn quick. We had multiple animes that
Hell
premiered
yeah.
this year that have already dropped season 2 or that are dropping in season 2. So I'm hyped about that. Like multiple, I think there's 5 of them or more. So like that's
I feel like
insane.
it's very important too to keep people like coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you had 2 or 3 years off of an anime, like it's easy for something else to take its place or get more popular. So like, stuff like Windbreaker, Kaiju, like it's cool to see those premiere animes, even if they have like a big manga following, getting that love and like keeping people coming back and stuff. Because I mean, we know like a lot of the like big names are ending soon. My Hero's going to be done soon.
Hmm.
Bleach will be done soon. Like it's cool to have like stuff take its place and this like next gen really start to heat up. And like I've seen a bunch of threads about Sakamoto Days and Kagurabachi and like what studios are going to pick them up. So like I feel like it's kind of cool that next gen is like finally taking over.
And what's kind of crazy too? I'm actually starting to appreciate something, especially like Wistoria, that also is taking it a bit more serious. I feel like a lot of the stuff we have coming out is a bunch of like, not like meme stuff, but more so like always it needs to have that comedy aspect. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of liking, the solo leveling, the Wistoria, where they are taking that more kind of serious nature as well. Because like you see like Kaiju 8, was it Sakamoto Days you were talking about? Like aren't they like just pretty much like comedies as well? You know what I mean? It's kind of more focused on like that humor. Yeah, that's like where I see a lot of like anime is kind of turning into, but at the same time I think that's because of like the younger generation coming up and creating manga, which is now being turned into anime. It has more of that like younger kind of comedy that we're seeing a lot more of, where it's like it's got to have that little bit of like immaturity in it, which I don't mind. I actually like in Kaiju 8, that shit was fucking hilarious. But having the animes that
Super
still
good.
take that
Yeah.
like seriousness that like Attack on Titan had, and that My Hero Academia had, it's gonna be nice. And I feel like Wistoria is gonna definitely have that, which I'm really excited about, especially because I saw some of the spoilers. You know what I mean? I hate that I did, but like shit's gonna fucking slap. That's all I'm gonna say. Shit is going to slap.
I feel like that's needed too. Like it's cool to have like the comedic relief and like your
Hmm.
funny animes and stuff. Like you said, I love comedy. The jokes in Kaiju number 8 was cool and it kept it light, but like I would like to also see some of those animes lose that as they move into like these big arcs and like these major
Facts.
fights and stuff.
Yes.
Or like maybe not even lose it, but like focus on like the fights and what's serious. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, they have like a couple, goofy scenes. You have like a whole episode in season 1 dedicated to them playing fucking baseball, which is like super funny, but at the same time, like a total waste of a week. Like, get out of here.
But bro, it was worth it just because of that one scene where Maki hit Toto with the fucking pitch. Do you not remember that?
I cut out. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Remember that one scene where Maki hit Toto with the pitch?
Dude, so
He
good.
gets fucking
Yeah, that
drilled,
was
and
totally
everyone's
worth
like,
it.
"Nice pitch, Maki. Nice pitch." Even
Nice
Toto's
pitch.
team,
Nice pitch.
and Itadori's just like, so there. He's like, "Yeah, man, they really fucking hate you." Like, I feel like that episode was worth it just because of that scene. That scene was
It's
so
so
good,
true. Toto's still the GOAT, though. My guy is a day one till the
dude.
very
He
end.
absolutely is. But
Shout
here,
out Toto.
here's the thing too, what you were saying about how you want them to kind of like lose a little bit of that funniness as we get into more serious arcs. Isn't One Piece doing that and people are getting mad about it? It's just apparently it's just not as well. Also, you're doing that after 800 episodes. People kind of get used to something when you're doing it for 800 episodes. But that's something that I knew someone brought up where they're like, hey, I'm not really liking One Piece like currently because like they're not like they don't have the same kind of humor. They don't have that same kind of like comedy in it.
It's not as light, but I also think that kind of matches how far they've come in their journey and like
Mm-hmm.
they're more mature. They're like what, almost 3 years older than they were at the start of the show. Like their comedy and like you still get stuff with like Sanji and Zoro like hating the fuck out of each other and like Usopp's always a clown. Um, like you still get that comedy, but it is a little more mature in the writing just because they're doing like end game stuff, if I
No.
could put it that
I
way.
mean,
You know
I'm
what I
not
mean? Like they're
disagreeing. I'm just saying that I think that people are then going to have that same problem with these newer animes, and then the manga artists are going to be like, oh, whoa, shit, like, hey, we kind of need this to make a living. Let's just do what they want. You know what I mean? And then kind of like it's going to get messy. That's the thing where I'm like, if they have the comedy in it, you can't necessarily have a serious story. Like, that's what interesting about Kaiju 8. Because Kaiju 8 has like that very serious story, but they have a lot of the comedy on it. It's like, are you going to like strength get more like strict with it where you like you have less of that like funny moments and the lightheartedness and really dive into the seriousness, or is it always going to be like this? You know, how's that gonna work? How are you gonna find that balance? Because if you're just too lighthearted, well then you're not gonna take the story as serious. But if you're too serious, well then people miss the funny that they were it's the guy at the beginning and that they liked. You know what I mean?
For me, the biggest like example of that I think would be Spy Family. I think if Spy Family was like two notches more serious, that would be like a goated fucking story for me.
Did you see the
Like it's a little.
movie?
No, I didn't.
Watch the movie.
All right, word. I feel like it's just been. I haven't seen the movie, obviously, but like, I feel like it's been like a little too reserved. Like, I want more of like the action and like their lives to come together. But I'm like, it's still enjoyable and like really good. But at the same time, like, want a little more. You
Season
know what
two
I mean?
sucked. Let's be honest. Season two sucked. It was all over the place. It was all over the place. Didn't make any sense.
So goofy.
Yeah, every episode was different except when they finally got into the cruise. But then again, the whole thing is Anya getting the Stellas, and she hasn't been doing that. But the movie brings that back. It brings back the season one where it's like, okay, it actually has a purpose. It's actually moving in a direction. You know, you actually have a lot of the action back. You have the comedy still, but like it seems more like it feels like season one again. That's why I'm really happy about the movie. It brought me back to that
Right.
season one feels. I'm like, yes, this is what we needed. Season two, in my opinion, just got like it was like, dude, what was that? Like,
Two slice of life for like the plot for me.
mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right, I'll
but
definitely check out the movie though. Good looks.
yeah, it's definitely worth it. But yeah. So speaking of that, which one do you want to move on to next?
You gonna do all ya?
Oh, okay, let's do all yeah. So the Madoff.
The Madoff, hell yeah. Our dream.
Bro, so that was damn. That was an interesting episode. I mean, Aya coming over, taking care of him, you gotta love it. But then I'm surprised Ayano, I think is her name, the maid. I'm surprised she took so long to go over. I thought she'd be there instantly. You know what I mean? With how much she loves him.
Like, it makes me wonder, like, what Yuki said. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Oya comes over first and, like, takes care of him and stuff. But, yeah, I was surprised Ayano, like, showed up later and it was like, oh, word. And then obviously you get the scene where, like, Oya's like, oh, you have another woman over? Like,
And she's
just
grabbing him.
perfectly.
Just let me hold you up. Let me hold you up. And he's like, "You're getting. She's getting the wrong idea. Like, get your
And
boobs
Kuze has,
off
like,
me."
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
He has, like, not asked or planned for any of this. And it's, like, still coming to his doorstep, which is super funny. But it was kind of cool. It, like, goes to show you, like, there are still people that cares about Kuze despite his reputation. But at the same time, like, he's still very focused. And, like, even though he's, him and Yuki are, like, a little bit goofy and, like, otaku-ish, like, they're still very sharp.
Bro, absolutely. And I think, yeah, Yuki had a lot to do. I think we ended up finding out later in that episode that she's the one that sent Aya over and then probably told Ayano, like, hey, don't go over. The trap is set. We gotta let that go and then you can go over and ruin
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? Then you can get in her head. But dude, Yuki is, like, for real evil. Like, the way that she played Aya this episode was fucking insane. It was absolutely insane.
Super underhanded, very
Yeah.
like underhanded, and she comes off as like eccentric and quirky and like a little goofy. But dude, we saw with like that smile. I think it was in the last episode. Her and Kuze, they have it in them. They have that like diabolical.
Classroom of the Elite.
Yes, very Classroom of the
Classroom of the
Elite,
Elite.
Ayana Koji, like super big thinker energy, and I love that. Like, it's so much fun and it's funny, it's cute, it's like kind of stupid, and then they like bring you in for those moments, and it's like, yo, these people are smart, and like Yuki has the long play. She's always like a couple steps ahead.
Oh my god, yeah, what she did was fucking brilliant. But here's the thing I'm kind of wondering too. Like, Kuze, why don't you just tell her that you're Yuki's brother? You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was funny too when Kuze was like, oh my god, she's playing me off as dead now. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you making up that I'm dead to play off this con. But like, why don't you tell her? Because like the way things are going and the way this debate's happening, it's gonna get out. You know what I mean? Because I have a feeling the grandpa's going to get involved. It's going to get out that Kuze is, Yuki's brother, who's a prodigy, and that's when everyone's going to be like, oh my god, Kuze, never expected that one. This is absolutely crazy.
What?
Like, at this point, I think Aya, with all the bullshit she's dealt with from Yuki, is going to be more surprised and pissed off that Yuki and Kuze are siblings than she will when she realizes that he speaks Russian. Because, like, think about it, it explains everything with them hanging out and her staying over and wearing his clothes. The fact that like she has this address and they're all so close and they have all these inside jokes, and the fact that she used her dead brother for this whole like con. Like if I'd be fucking furious at Kuze if I found out that they're like related. I'd be like, you fucking dickhead. Do you know how much anxiety and pain and like manipulation that has caused? Like just fucking tell her. I get that the grandpa's like, oh my god, you're disowned, but like he can blow it. Like fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Makes no sense.
100%. I'm definitely in agreement with you. I think the like family stuff will come out at some point because
Mm-hmm.
their families will get involved or like intertwined in some way. Um, and we kind of got like a taste of that an episode or two ago when we met Kuze's grandpa, and like he's like super cool and relaxed, but like also like takes like an active role in his life. Like he cares what's going on with him, and he's like obviously trying to be his wingman, which was super funny. But to think that he wouldn't like stand up for him or maybe put him in a position where like he wants to make sure Kuze's all right. I wouldn't put that past them. So I think that'll probably happen to some degree. I think you're 100% right though. Aya will be way more upset that he just wasn't like forthright. Like, yeah, me and Yuki are brother and sister. We got a fucked up family. Like, you
Yeah.
know, a ton of people out there. Like, it's not really a big deal, but they made it a big deal by hiding it. And then when she finds out he knows Russian, it'll be like no big deal. Or she'll be like, yeah, I already knew. Like something simple like that.
Or it'll be like the opposite. I don't know. I could actually see them doing some twist where like she finds all this out kind of at once and she kind of just like done with him. Because to be honest, if I was into somebody and I was in Aya's position, I'd be like, you know what? I actually don't fucking want to be with you. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like
Hiding
you think
something
about
like that
it.
would be so weird. You'd be like, oh,
Mm,
this is like your sister? Like, ugh.
yeah, like
I don't know.
that's
As normal people though, like I feel like you can relate. Like I'm an otaku at heart. You know what I mean? I hide it well at my professional job, if you can call it that. But like people automatically get this assumption of you, and then it's like you hide something like that. It'd be like, yeah, Kuze, you're a weirdo, bro. Like, so what?
but
It's your sister. You know what I mean?
But like it's a lot because it's like not only did he hide that as his sister, but like it's been used at the centerpiece for so many things that like have kind of caused like Aya distress. Like it could have cleared so many things up, and like every like misunderstanding that's been the center of it. That's why it's been misunderstanding. So like think of like all like the annoyance it's caused her, but then also like then then gets embarrassed because like I've been flirting with you in Russian this whole time and you knew, like that's super embarrassing. It's like, oh, I've been changing with the window open this entire time, like every day, and you've just been watching me. Like that's fucking weird. I feel really uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's like very like personal. But like I don't know, dude. I feel like it's gonna be that could be a cool twist where Aya's kind of like, you know what, fuck this, and then he kind of has to go and try to get her back. I feel like that could be kind of cool, but yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting piece to this anime because like, damn, is it causing problems?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this will go and kind of like how the results of the student council election will play out. I think once that's all done and like Yuki wins or Alya wins, whoever, whatever the fallout is from that, I think it'll be important to see kind of how like Alya and Kuze react to it. And then I'm sure Yuki, just because of the nature of her relationship with her brother, she'll be there to support them and be like, yeah, sorry, we, have been fucking with you for how many months. Like, Kuze said, like, he's an alright guy. Because I feel like she pushes Alya to put herself in these positions to, like, be with Kuze and help him and hang out with him. But at the same time, like, she acts jealous, but I don't really think she is. So it'll be cool to see how, like, everything kind of plays out. Like, she comes off as jealous, but, like, I think deep down she really does want Alya to like mature a little bit and like open up to him because she sees like their relationship.
I agree, but at the same time, I feel like we're giving Yuki too much credit. Because like Yuki really does love her brother in like a weird way, and like she's like, damn, it sucks. She even said she's like, damn, it sucks that I'm not the girl that can like get you focused again, that can get you passionate about something again, right? And that's where she kind of gave
Fair.
Aya her credit. and I can see her not wanting to fuck that up, but she doesn't want to lose that part of her brother again. The one that was just very like on it, like very just like again Ayana Koji. You know what I mean? So I can see her not wanting to sabotage that, but at the same time, every instance where she's kind of like put them closer is always been in a way to underhand Alia and to kind of fuck her over and to get in her head every single time.
It is always underhanded. You're right. I didn't really think about that. There's always like a motive for
Yeah.
Yuki's benefit for putting them together. And then like I want to say episode 4, episode 5, that scene where she turns around, she's like, "Oh, how do you feel about Kuze? Are you in love with him? Because I
Oh,
love him more than anyone in the world." And like says it like so confidently. It was like, yeah, like she's definitely pulling for herself. Like she's rooting and like positioning herself in the best way possible. So like maybe it's not that she wants Alya to like push herself to get with Kuze, but at the same time like do that, but also lose the fucking student election, like
I
because
think
she
it's
does want to win that. Because you're right, she does make a couple episodes later. I think episode 6, she makes that point where like she just wishes she could be the one to push her brother to like lock back in and be that prodigy that he was and like carry the family name. And even though she bears that burden very well, or she shows it, she might not feel that way, but
well,
she knows he's the one who like is always better, smarter, faster, stronger
yeah.
type deal. So like I don't think she like hates the fact that Alya's the one that's like pushing him, but she does kind of feel slighted by it. She wants to like fuck with Alya and beat her. Even though I think she does like kind of care about them, but not enough to not fuck with them.
I feel like it's a massive mix of emotions. You know what I mean? She wants to kind of push Alia and be like, okay, fine, you be with my brother. He really wants you. Also, a little jealous of that, so I'm gonna smite you a little bit. Also, I want to beat you, so I want to like psychologically damage you a little bit. It's like a whole mix of like a ton of different stuff. I don't think it's so like black and white. It's just very complicated. And Yuki, Yuki also is not mentally all there. Like, let's be honest. We love Yuki, but she's kind of
It's a
psychotic.
little too relatable. I'm like, yeah, Yuki, and it's like, oh yeah, it was kind of fucked up what she did.
Yeah,
Just
it's like.
like making her eat the super spicy shit. It's like, it's kind of
That's like
diabolical.
the
And she's
worst.
sitting there like enjoying it the whole time.
I think the worst thing is that like Kuze and Yuki are just so related because then it happened again where Kuze's like, I don't have the heart to tell her. I'm like, yeah,
And
here's the
it's just
pepper.
them. He's just like, yeah, I can't do it. Got to go with the lie at this point.
And
Full
like,
send.
I think that was the one thing that really kind of like, I feel like they've done that a whole lot throughout this anime. Like, really kind of show the similarities between Yuki and Kuze, even though like, oh yeah, Yuki's this, Otaku is like really out there, and there's Kuze, but like they had these moments that constantly showed, that they definitely are related because of the similarities. And I feel like the smile in this episode really locked that in because then you kind of see, yeah, they're both like the cat Clash from the Elite vibes. You know what I mean? We've always seen that from Yuki of how like sadistic she can be and how smart she can be and how cutthroat she could be. And we kind of see that smile from her where she's like going after Aya, but now we kind of see that in Kuze where now he's like that again, where now he has a smile and he's locked in. Fucking Yuki better expect a big fight coming because he is not going to take that one laying down. He is ready. And Aya's like, oh, I like the side of him. So Aya doesn't necessarily know what she's getting into, but she likes the psychos a little bit. And hey, psychos are fun to love. I mean,
Very
so
relatable. Very relatable.
red flags, but hey, that is gym motivation when it goes wrong. I'm just saying, it's a win-win.
Talk about brother. Fuck yeah. It's all secretly to get that perfect pump. That,
Yeah.
that Toji Fushiguro body. You're so right though.
How
I
do you think
like,
Toji got the body? That's why he's so pissed off. He had a son. He's like, "Fuck! This wasn't a part of the plan."
he was a womanizer too. You know what I mean? Another anime trope: deadbeat dads and womanizer body. That's terrible. We don't condone that type of behavior, but we do condone wonderful physiques. Look at Will Serford. I mean,
Bro, yo, that's facts. Bro is literally yoked. Okay, damn.
takes
Like,
his shirt off once in the whole series, then everyone's like, "Oh, yo, my guy's chiseled."
I don't even know if
Yeah.
everyone's even like that. I think it's just us. We've talked about it every single podcast episode since it happened, like a month ago.
You may be right. You
I'm
may
not
be
even
correct.
kidding. Every single episode we
If
bring
you
it
haven't
up.
seen Will take his shirt off, you need to go back and watch episode 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think it's
Whenever
like 7 or 8.
Nah, there's another scene. It's him and Rosti in the shower. Forgot about
Oh, in
that.
the bath, yes.
He's also pecked up for that.
Yeah,
Awful.
Bass was the boys.
That's a perfect segue into like the elusive samurai, where they all think he's like super,
Perverted.
super
Oh,
kinky and
this is so
perverted.
fucking. All right, yeah. Did you have anything else you want to talk about Alia? Or are we getting right into elusive now?
I'm excited for the end of Alia. Like, I want to say this is episode 12, right? This is going to be the finale.
No, we're on
Is it
episode
11?
11. We're about to be on, I believe. Yes, yes.
Can't remember, but like, right? Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
I
no,
don't
we're way
remember.
far behind because we just had episode 10 of Wistoria. I feel like we thought we were on episode 10 for like 3 weeks now.
And Elusive Samurai, I think, was episode 10 too.
Yeah. So I think Alia, we're about to be on episode. No, we actually think we are about to be on episode 12. I think we're about to have this. Fuck!
Because I know a couple things started like a week or two earlier before
Alia
whatever.
was one of them. Why am I logged out
Yeah.
of fucking Crunchyroll, dude?
So like, I'm super excited to see where it ends up. Just
Yes,
kind of
sir.
how like the finale comes together, because you know it'll be fun.
Alia's about to have the season finale! That was episode 11!
Damn, that's what I thought.
That's heartbreaking, boys. It's heartbreaking. Everyone send in letters, emails. We need more. We need more.
Yeah, absolutely. Nah, I feel like that'll definitely get a season 2. I feel like there's been very warm reception for Alia, which is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely gonna be getting another one, but it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm really excited for season 2. But Elusive Samurai, yeah, they all think he's a massive goddamn kinky pervert.
So first off, if I'm Tokiyuki, and maybe this isn't, hold up, he's an 8-year-old boy, so right, he's like 8 or 10.
Yeah, he's
Whatever.
8. He becomes a war hero at 10.
All right, so he's 8 years old. He's probably pretty malleable and easy and gullible.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I want you to grab me eel. Eating some eel, like this luxury meat, that'll bring my powers back. It's like, all right, right there. This guy's bullshitting.
I
Like,
actually thought he was
just
telling the truth.
no way. I'm like, yeah, because eel's super expensive. It's always like the most expensive meat you can get when you get sushi. So I'm like, all right, yeah, this guy's frauding right here. And Tokiyuki just like follows through with it like everything else. And I was just like, this kid has no idea what he's up against.
I mean, I would have done what Tokiyuki did, but I just would have went to them and be like, hey guys, like, it's all him. It's all him. It's not me. I'm getting it for him. You know what I mean? And they would have believed it because he's weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, like the priest, you know, getting that shit would have been like, oh, no, unbelievable. The priest is such a good, normal man. Like, no, he's a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? They would have been
Nobody
like, oh,
thinks that.
makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you just explain that, like, hey guys, no, it's not me, they would have been like, oh, like, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah. But he didn't. Instead, he's just like, my retainer said I'm a kinky freak. And I love how, like, they even, like, talk about it too. We're like, you know what? We're still going to follow him. Yeah, yeah, we're still going to follow him.
Even though he's a masochist, we still love him. It was just like, what great retainers. You know, he's got some kinks here and there, but he's still a good guy. He's got a good heart.
He's a fucking weirdo, bud. We love him. We're gonna follow him. We're gonna get Japan back. Even the fucking ninja dude was like, full on that. Like, I loved how he was just like kicking back and like a tree like stuffing his face. Like, yeah, this guy's a fucking weirdo. I forget his
cool with
name.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, Genba.
Genba. Yeah.
And then the fucking scene at the end, like they have like a joke about it. He makes the doll and makes it look like a shrine maiden and everything, and like he's super proud of it. And they're all like, "Ooh, weirdo." It's definitely got some deep-rooted issues, but that's our lord. You know, we're retainers to the end. Super funny. But then our closing scene is Yorishige getting spanked by this fucking doll that Tokiyuki made. Did you miss that?
I'm kind of
I
glad
didn't
I
miss
did. It was an end credit scene.
I was either the end of the episode or yeah, like the preview for the next episode. He's just sitting there, you know, on all fours, getting spanked by this straw doll that Tokiyuki made.
We're
So
not
it is
watching.
Yorishige.
We are not watching end credits for Elusive Samurai. Got it. Moving forward, end of the episode is the end of the
Gotcha.
episode. We're not.
I'll
we're
bear
not-
the masochism for the greater good.
I probably would have saw them and be like, "What the fuck?"
That was my reaction. It was like, all right, yeah, Yorishige's a sick fuck. He's like, oh no, I need my holy power, and then he's like tied up. Yeah, you should go back and watch it. It's pretty funny. He's like, no way.
The more you talk about it, the more I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this anime anymore.
And the fact that it's Gojo's voice actor, it's just like it fits the bill too well. It's a little little too far.
Dude, that's what I love. The more you watch anime, the more you kind of like recognize the voice actors. You're like, oh fuck yeah! Like you instantly have that little connection to the character, or like it makes the character a little bit more funny because then it's like you hear somebody else, and I can't take it serious. Like I forget, dude. I forget fucking who it was. There's an anime that came out recently. Um, um, it's Yuno's voice actor. Who is it? Like, let me look back at Crunchyroll. So I believe it could be Tower of God, but there's a character that has Yuno's voice actor, and everyone's like, I can like Yuno's like forever changed.
Ooh.
What?
You, yo, his voice actor is Shanks and Mojito and Baki.
Wait, what voice actor? Yu-Gi-Oh?
You know,
Yuno?
the dude you just mentioned.
Why did I
That
say
is a
Yu-Gi-Oh? You gotta cut out for a second. That's what I thought.
boy
Yuno
Yugi.
VA characters. How do I look at this quickly? Who's Yuno's VA? Oh wait, it's gotta be the English though. It's gotta be the English.
Oh, you're talking about the English bull. I'm looking at Nobuga Shimazaki.
Okay. English VA for you know what's funny? You know Black Clover because it keeps coming up. You know Gazai. uh, Asta. You know is okay. We're gonna go to this person. Characters. Who do they play?
A guy Micah
Uh,
Solasad.
I think it's Soul Eater. I think it's someone from Soul Eater. Damn, I've seen a lot of his real life. Black Clover, Soul Eater, Noragami.
Yo, he's Kobe. He does Kobe in the One Piece movie.
Oh, dude,
Fire.
they play Yuno and Soul. That's what it is. Because I just finished Soul Eater, and someone was saying that like
Oh,
I can
okay.
never take like Yuno seriously now that like it's his Soul. Is that from uh something Seraph, the vampire show? Bro, wait, that's the guy from Blood Blockade, Battlefront Blockade. All right, yo, this is sick. That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, whenever you just recognize voice actors, it's just like it hits like Bleach. Doesn't Jiraiya play someone from Bleach?
I think so.
He sounds like
It's not
the Captain
Ichigo.
11, the Captain yeah, the Captain of Squad 11. Sounds a lot like Jiraiya. Because since I've been watching it, I keep hearing him like, dude, that sounds just like him. It's actually crazy, but it's cool. I fucking love it.
I feel like their personality comes out in their voice, and I feel like as you get to know people and like you become friends with people, the
Mm.
rare occasions that we leave the house, like yeah, like their voice, and your like inflection and stuff like
Yeah.
comes through in like the way you talk. So like for voice actors, I totally get that. And like obviously Nakamura is like a huge, super famous guy, like having done Gojo, but like I could just never take him seriously. Like he's always a troll. And then like being Yorishige and being like super funny and super goofy and creepy with Tokiyuki, it's like this is the role you were meant for. Like it's so perfect. And this episode was like dedicated to it too, I feel like.
Oh my god, absolutely. That's all it was this episode, which is kind of a letdown considering we just had a recap last episode. Like it was really funny, but then it was kind of like more like a filler episode. You know what I mean? It was kind of like
We
an
only
entire
got like
episode of getting his powers back.
yeah, and like at least he was like upfront with Tokiyuki about it, but like it was kind
Yeah.
of BS filler. But the end scene with Takauji, couldn't remember his name
Oh,
for a minute
that was
there,
sick. That was sick. And his
and
brother.
his brother,
Mm-hmm.
yo, the scene where he goes, he's like, oh, come in and look at this painting, like blah blah blah. He wants
Mm-hmm.
him to be like a director of Kamakura, which is like a super big political hub in feudal Japan. Nobody cares. He's like, yeah, come and take a look at this Buddha painting I made. And his brother's like, all right, sick. And then when he goes to walk in, like all that like black surrounds him, and he was just like, ew, creepy. No fucking way.
Yeah, he's scared of his
And
brother
then he
now. His brother's not human.
and like they're like very good about dropping very subtle hints and like subtle lines. And he's like, oh, like I would love that panel to have that picture of the Buddha that you drew. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he like trades it for cedar logs for like the war efforts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as Takauji walks away, he like turns to his two helpers and he was like, "Burn this fucking building down. This shit is evil. Fuck my brother." But
Wait, did you
the
miss
line
that
he
part
uses
after of why he
where
said
he's
to burn it
like,
down?
he's not human. He was like, this guy, he like questions his humanity and shit because he views Buddha as prey, which is like a very religious
That's what it
symbol.
is. Yeah.
I was like,
So
yo,
the rest of the wall was that wasn't like an aura like it was in the beginning, like when he went to step in, that like purple and black shit, like the aura of like evil, and he was like, nah. If when they went in and you saw the Buddha painting, you saw like a lion devouring the Buddha. That was the paint with the rest of it. That's why there was paint and ink everywhere. That's why he was like, I cannot let anybody else see this, because them seeing the Buddha is one thing, but them seeing that he views devouring Buddha is another, and they're not gonna follow him if they think that, because it's like
which
satanic.
back then would be like, yeah, heresy. It would be
Mm-hmm.
like a religious crime against God or Buddha. So like that would have been like a no fucking go. So
Yeah.
that was like a very wicked and like mentally outrageous thing to do, to like paint that and then be like, yo, bro, come check this out.
Well,
It's
his
like,
brother
yo,
even
what the
said, I don't
fuck?
think he knows that he's doing it. Because there's kind of like lines all over the place that then made out a tiger like eating it. And he even said, he's like, I don't even know if he
Yeah.
even views, because he says he like loves Buddha. I don't think he even realizes that he views Buddha as prey, that he tries to view himself above a god. You know what I mean? And that's so much more.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting, super creepy, but also I want to know, how did he become not human? What turn did he go down? Because he used to be human and a great kind of dude, it seemed like. But then something happened, and even his brother's like, I don't fuck with you anymore.
And like all the people in his close circle are like terrified of him and realize he's like different than he was or he's inhuman in some way. I feel like they're building him up to be an outstanding villain.
Oh my god,
Um,
yes.
it's kind of given me like I can't remember this guy's name. From Golden Kamui, the guy with his face who had like his like by his eyes, he has like his whole face blown off, and then he wears that mask. He's like a psycho through the whole show, and like really they build him up super well, and like he ends up being a great character, but like as a villain in the beginning, you're like, dude, this guy is so creepy. He does super weird shit that's like off-putting to even your own family. That's my kind of villain. I like that guy. You're fucking weird to everybody. And like the scene where he has his back turned to the shogunate's son and he just catches the sword like that, it was like,
Oh
yeah,
my
this guy's
god.
different. So they've
Yeah.
done like a good job with just a couple scenes and like, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes of making Takeuchi seem like untouchable and like super evil.
Dude, they are doing a really good job with the villains. I think it's absolutely awesome, a ton of fun. And yeah, I can't wait to see this guy kind of really take center stage, because it is going to be absolutely awesome. It is going to be so cool, especially against Takayuki, where it's going to be like, yo, that is going to be a battle of the century. You know what I mean? No, no, like, talk no jutsu. We need straight up battle. Okay? You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. And like the way his retainers will be involved with it, like I'm really, really interested to see kind of like how we come up against this time skip because he's going to need 2 years to become this like war hero, like you mentioned. So I'm interested to see like how they train and kind of what happens to like lead them to this point where they feel like they can kill this guy who thinks he's tougher than God. You know what
Well,
I
he kind
mean?
of like low key might be. I mean, the way he's able
He
to
just
behead
might be.
people like that was absolutely insane.
And that
You know what the
scene,
scene reminded me of? It reminded me of that kid in a COD lobby that like they shoot the trigger once and like everyone gets headshotted in the lobby. You know what I mean? Have you seen that? They have the cheats where like you shoot the gun and it instantly headshots everybody no matter where they are. It felt like that, where he didn't even like remove his sword. I think he like kind of moved it a little bit, and then everyone got beheaded. And I was like, what the fuck? Even his brother saying his intuition is like not human anymore. The way that he just knows everything, knows what you're thinking and what you're doing, it's like absolutely insane. Like he actually might be at a level of like a god taking him over.
it's so good. And like the build up of like him and Tokiyuki and like Tokiyuki's progression's been really cool this
Mm-hmm.
season. Like not too slow, not too fast. Like he's building like a healthy group of retainers and like none of them are like Fubuki's really skilled, but he's not like, Takauji. He's nothing crazy or like, otherworldly. Like he's a really good swordsman, but he's still a kid.
Yeah.
And like I feel like they've done a good job of like kind of bringing these two parties closer together and kind of like building up for this, but this is I would say that's the one anime like I would be pressed to not read. I want to wait for season 2, but
Whoa, whoa! Out of all of them, that's the one.
Wistoria, but like Wistoria's anime has been so good. Like I feel like I could leave that alone. For me, Elusive Samurai, I need to know what happens. I need to know.
Gotcha. Dude, yeah, I'm definitely excited. But moving on from that, My Hero Academia.
My
Honestly,
hero, dude.
Honestly, the only I have so many good things to say about this one. Only one bad thing. I just love how the entire episode, every 5 minutes, someone's like, "Oh my god, guys, we have to trust in Midoriya. Midoriya's gonna bring us out." Like Midoriya's crying again, guys. Like someone pick him up off the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's so funny how like everyone's relying on this one fucking kid, but like he cries a bunch. But like, I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that more. I thought that shit was so funny. I turned that stuff into shorts from the last podcast episode, and the amount of butthurt
Very
people that are like
nice.
disliking it. But I'm like, you know what? For every one of you motherfuckers that disliked it, someone subscribed because they're like, finally, someone's saying it. Someone's speaking out and not giving a shit about the community of this anime.
I don't know. Like, I like Midoriya. Like, he's grown a lot, and like his progression from the beginning of the show to now has been like cool. Like, he's a good dude. I like Bakugo more. Like,
Oh yeah.
personally, as like a character. Like, there's cooler guys in the show. Um, but like, I can appreciate what Midoriya stands for, and like, this episode did a really good job of like putting the ideologies and thought processes of like the heroes and the villains against each other, which we get
Mm-hmm.
pretty often. But the fact that Izuku cries over literally everything,
The dumbest
that's what
stuff.
busts me up. Like you think of
Yes.
all our MCs, Naruto cried a good bit, but
It was always
Naruto
at
had it way
deaths. It was
he
always
had
at
way
like deaths.
rougher.
Yeah.
Naruto had it way rougher than Midoriya, and I will die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't know, like Yuji's had a pretty fucking horrible life. Like
But again,
my
it's
man's not out
why
there
they end
crying all
up
the
crying.
time.
You know what I mean? It's not like they see like an old friend and are like, "Oh my god, gentle criminal!" Like, bro, like you saw him like one interaction like 5 seasons ago. Why are you crying that you feel his presence? You know what I mean? Like to be fair, if we want to compare it to Naruto, Naruto didn't even cry when Kakashi died. You know what I mean? You know, like the
He
amount
got
it
way more
took.
stoic as he
Yeah.
became a teenager, and Naruto was like a man before he should have been a man, and like that was
Hmm.
cool. And like he was still sensitive and stuff, but Midoriya just like he's not it for me. He's not the MC for
You
me.
know who we should talk about though? You know who we should give some light to? This is a crime that I don't know this character's name. This is a crime. This is disrespectful. I should have looked it up.
The bird guy.
Yep, the bird guy from the class.
I
That
actually looked it up right before we hopped on this call. Tokiyama. I'm gonna say Yes,
Tokiyama is
Tokiyami.
an absolute beast. Not only did he should have gotten credit
Real
before
G.
because he stepped in when Endeavor and Hawks were going after All for One and actually like showed up. Like he actually fucking like kicked ass and was doing well and was actually like super helpful against like the worst guy in the world. You know what I mean? Like All for One has been absolutely horrible, and this kid's able to step in and like actually do something. It has been crazy and crazy. But this last episode, like, dude, he was the only guy who was actually able to do anything. He was able to like actually like fuck shit up, and it's cool that like, Hawks is now seeing him and be like, yo, like this kid knows what's up. Like I'm gonna assist this kid in any way I can. If that's the only way I can help in this fight, I'm gonna do it. The way he was helping pushing him forward and they're drawing in that hit, like, bro,
So good.
Tokiyama is the man, bro. Like,
That was the highlight for me.
mm,
Tokiyami and
Tokiyami, my bad. Yep.
Hawks. Yeah, I'm gonna. It's like 30 seconds ago. I got it wrong, but
Wait, I got it wrong. Did you get it right? Is it
I have it on
Tokiyami or
my screen. I
Tokiyama?
have it right in front of me here.
What is it?
I Tokiyami.
I got it wrong. I said Tokiyama.
Dude, I
Whoops.
looked it up right before we hopped on the
Sorry,
call, and I
bro.
still got it wrong.
Yeah. The crow. The
So, like,
crow.
Crow man, yeah. Like watching them kind of work together, and Hawks like
Mhm.
leaning on like the Kohai or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Like that shit is cool. That's like was like a huge sticking point of like that scene where Hawks is chasing All for One, and he's like, going through his monologue, and he's like, this is my story, like the winds are in my favor. And he says like a couple things that it's like, yeah, momentum's like going my way, you guys suck. And then Hawks is like, this is our story. And like you kind of get like all the people that are like working to beat All for One. Like
Yeah.
that's what this show is about for me. And like you have all these side characters that are like, some are fleshed out well, some aren't, but they're all like working for that same common goal. And like to see Tokiyami like come up and land that super, super sick attack on One for All and like kind of catch him off guard, like he was not expecting that, was like really satisfying.
And what's so cool is that like he's such a cool character. I remember seeing him in the beginning of the anime. I'm like, yo, he's fucking awesome. Like he's really fucking cool. You know what I mean? So to see him actually like become a beast and become a badass is fucking sick. And also the other high school stepping in, like that was cool. Like that was pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, and I do gotta say this too before I forget. I did fuck up. I did fuck up. I gave him shit about the whole Lady Nagant thing. I'm like, oh my god, I thought she died. She actually didn't die. It was actually like a very split second thing where at the end when Itadori was like reaching out his hand, he's like, you're so hero in your heart, and she decided to turn. She immediately imploded, and as she fell to the ground, she hit the ground and was like, I don't know where he is, but in 2 months he's gonna be at the mansion, and then she like faded off. And then that's when All Might stepped in and was like, hey, she's got to go to the hospital. She's in critical condition. And then it cut right from there, and we never heard of Lady Nagant ever again. So she
Fair
didn't
enough.
die. Yeah. So she didn't die.
Yeah, I was under the assumption she just was like
I
similar
think
to
we
like
all
Stars
were.
and Stripe,
Yeah, I think
like
we
dead.
all were. Because,
Which like I gotta say, in hindsight, that's like not bad writing. I've like talked to you about other stuff. It's like I bitched about it for like months, and I'm like, yo, the author sucks. And then he brings it back, like brings a character back, or like explains their situation and the reason they're not dead, and you're like, good writing. I'm glad I was super patient the last 8 months. Like, so I
Bro,
always
I feel
feel
like
bad.
it's
But, like,
always like that. It's fucking always like that. But like, to be fair, like I feel like part of like good writing is being able to show the audience what you want to show them and make them feel the way you want them to feel and think the way you want them to think.
yes,
Like if we all kind of thought that she was dead, then you didn't make it clear enough that she was alive. And that's the other tough thing is that it's really difficult regardless because it was so long ago. And that's kind of the problem when you have good writing with like these big animes, because it's like, oh, that's genius. But the problem is that happened like 3 years ago. How am I supposed to remember that? You know what I mean? Especially when you're watching all these other animes. So that's where like little details can kind of get lost or like confused because of the duration of time in which they're used.
I will say for me, like the one character that comes to mind. It's not animated yet, but you know exactly what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Like I feel like that was really well done because everybody was hating it. There was a chapter where like it's like, yeah, confirmed dead character, and then it's like, oh wait, you were like, this is kind of sick, but like it's fucking bullshit. It's like plot armor, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of like it as a fan. So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's definitely tough, like both ways, but I guess that shock value makes you like appreciate the moment a little bit more. Like, oh wow, they're alive. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. It feels like a pull a bit.
Well, that's why you can't get mad when we become hypocrites. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like when we're like, oh fuck
Yeah,
that shit, and then we're like, oh wait, yeah, we're wrong. Okay, maybe. You know what I mean? That's where it's like you can't get mad at us for being hypocrites, but you didn't make it clear enough, and it was too long ago. You know what I mean? Like when this whole thing was
I'm
getting,
emotionally attached to your work. You can't
yeah,
play with me like
exactly.
that.
No, not even to his work, to Lady Nagant. I mean, like she's my favorite in the
Yeah,
entire goddamn anime. I thought she was dead. You know what I mean? To me, that's not a side character. That is the character. Like.
that's the MC.
Yeah, that's the true MC. We're just following this fucking crybaby the entire time as a joke. You know what I mean? The real MC is Lady Nagant.
Facts, dude. And Midoriya's like been pretty cool. He's like done cool shit, but it's just his personality that I don't really agree with.
It's the way
Like,
he's written. It's literally, if you have him stop crying, I think Midoriya's a fucking beast. Yeah, that's it. And what's crazy, he didn't even cry in his fucking Dark Deku arc. You know what I mean? Like the
that's the
one arc.
Deku I wanted for the final. You know what I mean? Give
Yeah.
me like evil, stoic, manly, young Deku. Like,
But if
hell
anything,
yeah.
like the times where Deku should be crying, he's not, and the times where like someone knocks at the door, then he starts crying. It's like it makes no sense. It's like it's so random. I think it's just like bad writing because I also don't like understand where that's coming from. Like why?
Especially
What's the
at
purpose
this
of it
point.
other than
This
making fun
point
of
in
him?
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at this point in the show, you should be a little more like mature and all the other previous users of One for All, like I don't want to say they're like mentoring them, but like kind of in a way, like they're
Hmm.
trying to win this war.
Oh,
So like you should
absolutely.
be a little
Yeah.
more like emotionally like sturdy. I don't even know. Like
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
all I
that
want to
would be
know
like
is why you're having him cry so much. Like, what is that purpose that it shows? That's all I want to know. Because like in the beginning, it makes sense because he's like, oh, he's like very childish and he has a lot to learn, and that kind of really helps build the maturity of Deku. But it never goes away. So like, what is the point of this kid crying every other episode? That's just make it make
the
sense. Just
weirdest
make it make
stuff.
sense.
And I feel like we didn't really get into, at least in this episode, like his fight with Shigaraki anymore. Like,
Hmm.
obviously they move away from the coffin, and we get the scene with Gentle Criminal like trying to hold up his elasticity. But Deku literally throws like one punch, I think, in this episode, and
And throws him off
we,
the thing. They jumped
yeah, it
off into
kicks him
the
off the
ocean.
coffin. So like, we didn't really get anywhere in the story. It felt like obviously with Hawks and All for One and Tokiyami, we kind of progress a little bit there, like, but it feels like it moves a little bit slow. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know if you feel that way, but I would have liked to see a little more. Even if it's like anime only scenes, like it doesn't even have to be anything like terribly important, but just give me some candy. I'm greedy. I have a
Give
small
me some
attention
candy.
span. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, I
give
get
me
what you
something.
mean. The thing is that you're like trying to like, it's kind of becoming Naruto War Arc, where you're trying to show so many different things. Like you spent like how many episodes on something that lasted 3 days. You have so much going on, and you're trying to show the different aspects of the battlefield, and you're trying to like build them instead of having them just be pure fights. Where you're showing the conversations because that one girl, we're kind of hearing her be like, oh, I don't have the same anger that the other guy has. You know what I mean? So the what is it, March of Sadness or whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I mean? How she
Yeah,
is like struggling to do that because like she doesn't really care to hurt anybody. It seems like it. Well, this was like one of those after credits things where she was like, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. Like this fight kind of seems fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Um,
which is kind of cool because like a lot of like war stories and like villains in real life have like come to that realization, like,
yeah,
yeah, what I'm doing's kind of fucked up, or like I don't really want to fight or
I'm
hurt
not
people
getting that
anymore. Like
satisfaction I thought I'd get. All my problems aren't being healed and resolved. I still feel like shit.
the purpose we're fighting for is not achieving, what
Yeah,
we thought it would, or the emotional release that I thought it would. Like, so like I think that's kind of cool. Like I think that's like relatable to real life, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's
but
not.
that's where I see it. You're trying to have too many things being built all around this like world per se that like it becomes really hard to have like entertaining episodes that just rip you in and grasp you. You know what
And
I
when you
mean?
bounce around from fight to fight
Mm-hmm.
to fight to fight, like, give me like 2 or 3 episodes of like these guys beating the shit out of each other, and like how much you adapt from the manga. And like I say this like I can animate an episode of anime. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, and I don't mean to be spoiled, but like if you could give like a full episode even of like one fight, I feel like it still is more coherent than like in each individual episode you're like hopping around to a bunch of different scenarios. Like it's hard to get that like emotional impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's gonna be tough to see how they do it, and of course, there's gonna be more ridicule as it comes to a close. Because anytime you have something that lasts years and years and years, and people are dedicated to it, the way that it ends, they're gonna be very picky about. You know what I mean? It's gonna be very difficult to do. So I feel like My Hero Academia is gonna become even more toxic over the next several, however long it lasts, because people are gonna be very critical of it, like we've been. Uh, but yeah, it's gonna be a mess, bro. It's gonna be way too much.
I agree with you. I think there's some plot points that are well done at the end of it. But I just know from Jujutsu Kaisen, which the manga has 2 chapters left, like of all the plot twists at the very end and like all the deaths and non-deaths we thought we had didn't have, everybody was like, yo, fuck the author, fuck Akutami for killing X, Y, and Z. And then it was like all this other stuff, like all these plot twists happens, and it's like, fuck Akutami because this didn't happen and we thought it did. It's like, no, like you're emotionally invested in like this shit was cool. You know what I mean? We were
That's
all wrong for like 9 months. Like it's okay. Let's what in a way makes good writing. Not all of it's great, but like I just saw this like total switch from like left to right, and then it's like, all right, we were just wrong. You know what I mean? We're
that's
not
like the
like
funny part because like for the past forever, you've been like, dude, fucking Jujutsu Kaisen, man, the manga sucks. I can't fucking stand it. I can't stand
I
this.
was hating
Dude,
hard,
you were like
dude.
ready to drop it. You're like, I fucking like so against, and then like the one day you just showed up, like, dude, fucking Jujutsu Kaisen is like amazing. Like they released one chapter that just made you like just flip a total 180. Like it was
There's like
so fucking funny. You're like, dude, this
there's
is
one
incredible.
turning point. There's one turning point. And it's like, this is what I've been waiting for like a year and a half. This is just what you were waiting for, but you weren't patient enough for it. So I take it back, Akutami. I take it back. It's masterclass. It's pure cinema.
That's what you were like. You're like, he's a fucking brilliant writer. I was like, bro, for the
Yeah, the
past like
guy's
3
great.
months, you've been saying these dog shit.
Ever since 236, if you know, you know. That's I've been a hater. And then after whatever it is, 268 or 269, I'm like, yeah, nah, guy knows what he's doing. Great story, very thoughtful, very good
You
stuff.
must do this for a
Like
living.
yeah, he must be. Yeah, he must do this every day. He must be rich. So like, I guess through my whole mania there. Like, I would say be patient and wait for the end, as hard as it is, because like there are like good twists and stuff, but there are some things in My Hero that I don't know. I don't love, but it still resolves well and like it's still cool.
Here's the worst part. Yeah, you gotta hope for more animators so we have bigger seasons. Because the thing is too is that like think of how long you waited for the manga. Well, that's gonna be what 3 times longer for the anime. Because you're able to get way more manga out than you are anime. So like that year and a half of fuck JJK, how many years is that gonna be as we watch it? You know what I mean? So that's why it's kind
Like
of
at
like.
least 2 or 3 seasons, and that's like how much time?
So that's gonna get to the point where it's like, dude, do we need? That brings up the question: do we need bigger seasons in anime? Not just because we're greedy, but because like you got to get more material covered in a quicker amount of time.
Let me ask you a total off the cuff question.
Well,
If anime came out every 2 weeks, but every anime was 24 episodes, would you be happier with that?
oh, so if anime came out every 2 weeks, but we had 24 episode seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, well that doesn't make total sense then because that's gonna make it like what 4 times longer. But you're doubling the season, but also doubling the
You're not.
amount of time it's taking to consume the season.
I forgot. You go by seasons too, which like
Uh huh.
when you go like month by month is different than when you're like, yeah, I watched 12 episodes of an anime. It's like, that took you like a couple months. That was like the summer. You know what I mean? We've been watching this all summer. Oh, yeah, you're right. So that like logistically that wouldn't work, but like I feel like I would wait longer, or like if an anime took like 2 weeks off and
Okay,
had like
how about
15
this?
episodes.
How about to refine your question? How about this? So what you're saying is that let's say we waited like it was every other week, but it was continuous, maybe right? And there were longer episodes, so maybe it was like a 40-minute episode. You know what I mean? Was
Yeah,
it more
something
than
like
like
that.
that?
Like give us more content, and like you can do more anime only stuff. And I guess for me, as like a manga reader, like the anime is supposed to like liven up the book. You know what I mean? Like you only
Yeah.
get one image on the paper. Like the scene should be fluid and like more lively. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just like my own personal opinion. I feel like
I
it
get what
is,
you
but
mean. So I don't understand how we're able to take your thought and make it into an analogy, but I get what you're talking about, and I agree. I would wait longer for more
for
content.
more, or like
Yeah.
longer duration with more time in between rather than
Yeah.
like week by week. Not that I don't like that, but because
Because I
I'm
think
greedy,
that'd
I
be
want
kind of
more
nice
of.
too. Because you got to think of it from the grand scope. Like if we're going to go in the fall season, there's gonna be a lot of fucking animes. So the fact that
You
we're gonna
would
have more
watch more
time,
stuff.
exactly, you'd be able to watch more stuff. You know what I mean? And sure, we'd have to wait longer for what we want to watch from that single anime. But when you're binging 15 animes at a time, which you'd think is fucking insane, but how many of us are binging 15 animes? Honestly, go watch the fall preview and then tell me how many 15 animes you're gonna watch. Like, I'm gonna be watching more than 15 animes in the fall season. I'm not even joking. It's fucking okay. Let's look. I have the paper. I didn't throw it out yet. So literally, there's gonna be ReZero. I'm gonna watch it. So ReZero 1, Blue Lock 2. I'm gonna watch Dan to Dan. That's 3. Shangri-La Frontier. I'm gonna watch that. That's 4. Blue Box. I'm gonna watch that. That's 5. Kenshin. I'm gonna watch that. That's 6. You Are Miss Servant. I'm gonna watch that. That is 7. I'm gonna be watching probably the Villainous one. Maybe that's 8. Maybe the no, that's 9. You know what I mean? And then there's gonna be some that carry over into that one still. Then we're gonna get some that's gonna be coming out as well. By then I'm gonna be caught up on Bleach. I'm gonna be watching that as well. You know what I mean? Like there's just so goddamn many. They just start cranking out. It's absolutely insane. So I would wait for more. Yeah, I think that would be better. Like being patient, but you're able to get more content out of it. I think that would be good.
I agree. I think it'd be a little easier to digest as a bigger fan. And
Hmm.
like if you're a casual fan, you'll watch what you want to watch when you have the time, which is totally cool. But like as somebody who's like trying to crush like the seasonal, ticket or whatever you want to call it, like the 5, 6 big anime, and then like the a couple what do you want to call it? Guilty pleasures, if you will.
I did not.
Like
I thought you were gonna say sleepers or like new ones, but
yeah,
guilty
no, yeah,
pleasures.
sleepers.
Where
Yeah,
are you going with the
sleepers.
guilty pleasure ones? What were we looking up?
Rent a girlfriend? No.
No, no. Yep.
Not at all.
I'm gonna have
Um
to watch this anime one day just to see what you're hyping up about.
the first season is good. I like the first season, but it falls off. It really does.
I feel like I'm gonna watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is Blake watching? That's what I'm worried about.
No, it's not good. And Kazuya's just such a shitty MC. Like, I don't know. The fact that there's like hundreds and hundreds of chapters about this guy who just can't ask out this hot chick.
Wait.
Well, no,
Real quick, isn't that also? Didn't I hear that that's also the solo leveling voice actor?
Oh shit, are they the same?
Did you not know that? So,
No.
the solo leveling voice actor, he wanted to go, and he wanted to get a, so he wanted Jujutsu Kaisen, apparently. I think that's what he was talking about. So I think he wanted Jujutsu Kaisen, and he was like, oh shit, they brought me in for an audition for Rent-A-Girlfriend. I don't want to say no, and then possibly not get an offer for Jujutsu Kaisen. So he's like, alright, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna shit the bed. So he purposely tanked his audition. He did not want to get a part, but he wanted to get brought back because he wanted to be in JJK.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, ended up getting a part. And they're like, yeah, you ended up getting an MC, didn't you? He's like, yup. So the soul leveling main
Yep,
character
I
for the
did.
English dub, is the Rent-A-Girlfriend MC for the English. I'm like, bro, that's
Dude, that is
fucking hilarious.
crazy.
So whenever you're watching Rent-A-Girlfriend and you're hearing the MC, just know that that voice actor did not want that role at all. He got fucked into it. Like, he
I will
fucked
say
himself over.
he's really good for it too. Like just the actual physical voice acting
Yeah.
is really well done because Kaji is such a goofball. Like he got that job and was like, "Well, time to pony up. Let's do it to
Yeah.
the best of our ability." So like, credit to him.
But dude, I thought that whole story was so fucking funny. But then it was Rent-A-Girlfriend too. I'm like, oh, dude, fucking Blake loves that. I think that's so funny. I was always remembering to bring that up to you, and I kept forgetting.
And he wanted Jujutsu Kaisen. That's too funny. From like a super dark, like gloomy anime to like a harem.
Yeah,
main
and
character.
then he gets stuck as the MC, so it's not like he has the time now to do JJK. So then he ended up screwing himself out of the role he wanted. It was just an absolute
I will
mess.
say JJK was really cool. They put a lot of like young people on. Like Itadori's
Mhm.
voice actor was like kind of young and didn't have like a huge resume. Like I think that's always cool.
Yeah,
You know,
dude,
it's
the voice acting in
young.
JJK I think is good, but at the same time I never know. I always think everything's good.
I'm very easily impressed. So yeah, totally
Yeah.
not true. I'm like not. I try not to be like super critical of shit just because I think there's plenty of like haters and like
Yeah.
critical people out there. So like I try to look at the positive, but
I feel like I never noticed because
As
I'm
I
just
sit
trying to
here-
enjoy the anime. You know what I mean? I'm not like focusing on the critiques of it. You know what I mean? If I say something's nice about like the artwork or the animation, it's just because I just notice it because it's that good.
something would really have to stick for me to be like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is annoying. Like Midoriya crying all the time. It's like, dude, we've been through this for how many seasons now? Like, it's a sticking point. And like, I know it's part of his character, and it's not really that big of a deal, but it is annoying. And like, it's got to be something for like that annoying for me to feel like.
Yeah, what's
I'll be like,
great
yeah, this
is
sucks.
we brought it back full circle, baby. It all comes back to Deku being a bitch.
Just wait till the end. Just wait till the end.
Bro, I hope. I'm gonna give it a fair shot. Like, let's see how this thing ends. All right, like, because other than that, like, I do have things I do like about My Hero Academia. Like, it does have its positives for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's easy to focus on the negatives, but they're, I mean, like Hawks this episode, and like through, the last dozen or so episodes, he's been outstanding. And as like a side character, Hawks is totally delivered. He's like an MVP for me.
Bro, I love Hawks. I actually hate that he doesn't have his full wings. Because I think, like, if I had to pick, like, a character, like, who do you want to be in My Hero Academia? It's Hawks. 100%. I think he just looks fucking sick. I think that'd be so much
Super
fun.
sick.
Yeah, dude, his wings are badass. The way he has, like, a katana, like feather. Like, I think that shit's just fucking awesome. I think he's so cool. So the fact that he's got little baby wings still, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, heal up.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But
Nah,
yeah,
he's sick. There's a lot of good characters in there, and there's a lot to like enjoy from My Hero, despite the criticism.
yo, facts. But I think that's it. You got anything else you want to add?
Dude, good week. We're coming up on the end here. Just keep rocking and enjoy these finales.
Yo, for real. I mean, it's gonna be sad that we're gonna be getting these finales soon. Yeah, next episode's gonna be the last one. It might have 13. Might have 13. But yeah, dude, the fall season's gonna be absolutely fucking insane. So if you want to know what's gonna be in the fall season, go check out the video. We're dropping that tomorrow. You're gonna love it. There's gonna be plenty to watch. It is going to be fucking phenomenal. But that is it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. And that's it. Peace.